Welcome back to Rich Words Music. It's been ages since I've had a Harley Benton guitar here on the channel, but 2024 has seen a raft of new releases by the Thomann in-house brand, and this, the DC-Custom II, is the first that's found its way to me to make a detailed video with. So the DC-Custom II is the successor to the brand's DC Custom model. It's a double cutaway in the vein of the Gibson or Epiphone SG. This model will set you back €299 as of summer 2024, and what I'm going to do today is tell you all about it and play it for you in as many different musical styles as possible. Now I'll start with the facts, so I'll talk you through the specs and the features, then we'll do playing samples and we'll go from the cleanest of clean tones through to some down-tuned metal sounds if the guitar can manage all of that. And at the end I will give you a few in-depth opinions about this guitar. I've had it on loan from Harley Benton to make this video for a couple of weeks now, and well, there's quite a lot to say about it, and I've played it a lot in that time. Now timestamps to everything will be down there if you'd like to skip to the parts of the video that are going to be the most useful for you, but let's start with those specifications and features. Now like I said, this guitar will set you back €299 as of summer 2024. Harley Benton typically fits in so much for the price point that I'm often blown away when I read the specs, and that's kind of the same with this guitar. So what do you get for your money? Well, you get, in this case, a meranti body and a meranti neck. Meranti is going to be an affordable yet similar sounding tone wood to mahogany, I would imagine. And in this case we've got a beautiful high gloss white finish, although a standard cherry red is available too. Now the white high gloss I think looks amazing. It looks classy and elegant and timeless, especially with this gold hardware, but it kind of looks a little bit metal as well, especially because the Harley Benton DC Custom design is a bit more pointy than your standard SG would be, and with these offset horns it almost reminds me a little bit of an ESP Viper or something like that, especially because we've only got one volume and one tone knob in this layout as well. But anyway, it looks great, it looks modern, but it looks timeless and classic at the same time, so it's going to suit everybody in that regard. And on the front of the body we've got what looks pretty standard and pretty no frills when it comes to an SG type. First we've got these two gold covered Tesla humbucking pickups. They're Tesla TM VR-Nitro Alnico 5 pickups to be exact, and these should give us great high output tones for modern metal sorts of things, but also a great nice mid-push tone for classic rock, and even some warm, mellow, jazzy sorts of cleans on the clean channel of the amp as well. These being Tesla pickups and this being a Harley Benton though, we get something extra too. This is the master tone control down here, and you can pull it up to split the coils of both humbuckers. So we've got single coils and humbucking tones from this guitar in abundance, and you're going to hear all of that in the playing part of the demo in a minute. So that's the master tone control, which is push-pull. We've got a three-way selector switch here and a master volume control too. The rest of the hardware on the front of the body is no-name stuff, but we've got a tune-o-matic bridge and stop bar tailpiece sort of operation. And if I move us round to the back of the body there, you can see again that we've got an SG style of body here, really nice, good upper fret access via the double cutaway. And look, the top strap button here is up here behind the upper horn. So it's not right on the top of the horn, but it's not down here either. So it should be good for balancing with this guitar when using a strap, and I'll be showing you that at some point in this video, possibly now, so watch out for that bit of B-roll too. And moving up to the neck of the guitar, we've got this meranti neck, as I've said, with a roasted jatoba fingerboard. Now you can quite clearly see that it's more of a reddish brown than a dark black like you get on an ebony SG custom neck or something like that, but it looks pretty nice and it feels pretty good straight out of the box too. Now the neck profile on this guitar is a C shape and it's medium, tending towards a little bit chunky as you move up to the top end of the board. It feels really nice and comfy on first feel here. And the frets, we've got 24 medium jumbo Blacksmith stainless steel frets for €299, stainless steel frets. That's a pretty amazing value for money proposition, I think. We've got a 42mm graphite 4 nut, a 628mm scale length, so Gibson scale length, and the fingerboard radius is 350mm, which is about 13 3/4 inches, so really nice and flat like you might expect with some Gibson Les Pauls or SGs or even Ibanez type guitars. Now this being a custom style of double cutaway guitar, we've got binding to the neck and the headstock, where we've also got a nice little design flourish there alongside the trapezoid inlays, so a little bit of visual bling as well. And we've got gold plated Grover tuners to deal with as well. So this is the Harley Benton DC-Custom II, and what we're going to do next is play it. Now my rig for today is going to be my Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200 amplifier with a couple of my favourite drive pedals for a bit of flavour too. We'll start super clean and we'll gradually wind things up until we're down in drop D doing some down-tuned metal madness. I think this guitar should be able to cover all of that, but like I said, timestamps down there if you'd like to move to the genres which are most appealing to you. Enough talk for now then, let's play the Harley Benton DC-Custom II and we'll speak in a bit more detail about it afterwards. Okay then, so that was the Harley Benton DC-Custom II, and I hope you enjoyed the playing and the tones. Leave me a comment down there telling me what you think of this guitar, how good it sounds, and whether or not you can think of any other guitars that cost €299 and offer you better value for money, because I'd be really interested to hear what you think about that. But what I'm going to do now is give you a few more in-depth opinions from my side about this guitar. Harley Benton sent it to me on loan, I should add, to make this video, and well, I've played it quite a lot since then, and I have quite a lot to say about it. I'm a huge SG fan, by the way, always have been. My first proper electric guitar was an Epiphone SG Bully way back in the day, so I've always had a soft spot for them, and I was really excited to see the DC-Custom II when it was launched. But anyway, first impressions of the guitar were very positive for me because I really like the looks of this one. White with gold hardware looks really classy and elegant in my opinion, but you also get the impression that it can do a bit of hot-rodded stuff as well, and it does look a bit metally, like I said in the intro, almost like in the SP Viper or something like that. But it's a really cool looking guitar, and I know that traditionally most people would look towards a cherry red SG as being the classic SG, but white with gold is a really decent look. And it felt great straight out of the box too. Straight away I really enjoyed the feel of this neck profile, and the frets and everything felt like it was going to play nicely. Really nice acoustic ring to the guitar as well, so good first impressions in that regard. But the other thing that I noticed is something which I don't personally like too much, and that was the weight of this guitar. It's a surprisingly heavy beast. This specific one weighs 3.75 kilograms, which is about 8 pounds 4, which in my opinion, for my personal taste, is just a little bit too much. Might not be a problem for you, but if you like a lighter weight guitar, well, you might want to try and check one of these before spending the money. But anyway, first impressions done and broadly impressed. I then moved on to look at the build quality, because for €299 and boasting something like stainless steel frets, you're looking for what's going to be wrong with the guitar, and I can't find anything. It's become a typical story with Harley Benton for me. I just don't find anything like blemishes in the finish or anything like that. The setup, the action, the intonation, these 24 medium jumbo Blacksmith stainless steel frets, it all seems to be great. The Grover tuners seem to be doing their job fantastically from day one with this guitar. It holds tune really well. The graphite nut seems to have been cut well too, because everything just works. The intonation is good and it stays in tune, and the Tesla pickups, the electronics and the hardware and all that, it just seems to do its job. So no problems, no issues with the build quality at all from me at this moment, so 2 thumbs up for that. And after checking the build quality, I started to give the guitar a strum to check out the playability, and well, it plays really nicely too. Like I said, a really nice C medium to slightly chunky neck profile. The one thing I'd change about the neck if I could is to give it a satin finish as opposed to the glossy affair that we've got. This is not a really sticky neck by any means, but I do just prefer a satin one if I can get it. But the rest of the neck's playability is really, really decent. The stainless steel frets are fantastic. It's a slightly different feeling to standard frets, but if you like it, you like it. And I have to say that I really like stainless steel frets at this point. So really, really decent from that regard. And the shape of the DC-Custom II, being an SG style sort of double cutaway shape, gives you great upper fret access if you need it, and it's a really ergonomic and comfy body too. Now this is a slightly thicker body than that of my Harley Benton DC-60 Junior and also my Epiphone SG, and it's a longer body in this dimension too. Hopefully I've got some B-roll that I can show you at this point up against my Epiphone SG and the Harley Benton DC-60, but this is just a larger, girthier beast all round, and as it's a bit heavier, it feels much more substantial to play it standing up wearing a strap, or to have it sat on a chair as well. But it feels great to play. It's a really nice playing guitar. And the other crucial thing that we have to talk about, of course, is the sounds. Does it sound any good? Do those Tesla TM VR-Nitro pickups do the job? Well, I have to say this guitar blew me away in that regard. Now normally when I'm recording the playing parts of these videos, I set my camera rolling and it has a maximum cutoff point of 29 minutes and 59 seconds. So I've basically got half an hour to nail all of the riffs that I want to showcase in the video. And sometimes I run a little bit over, but generally I like to keep my playing part to 30 minutes, and then I switch it off and then I'm done, and then I move on to the rest of the video. But with this guitar, I found myself turning it off when I'd finished playing, and then I just carried on playing and playing, and the next time I looked at the clock, 3 hours had elapsed. So this guitar has been very addictive for me playing wise and sound wise too. It's an incredibly versatile instrument and you can pretty much do anything with it. These Tesla pickups are really, really good. And I've never been a huge fan of Tesla pickups on Harley Bentons in the past. They used to come either with Roswells or with Teslas, and I often found myself preferring the Roswells. But these Teslas in this specific guitar just click and just do an awesome job, at least for the kind of music that I play. On the clean channel of the amp, we were getting beautiful, clean humbucking tones, classic sounding, warm, mellow and jazzy on the neck pickup, and pushing the amp almost to break up on the bridge humbucker because it does have quite a lot of oomph to it. They're lovely sounding humbuckers. I did think that on lower gain settings, this is a slightly darker sounding guitar than many of the other Harley Bentons that I've played, but of course you can dial that out no problem if you want to. I did just want to keep my amp settings, which are always fairly neutral, the same as I do in every video, just so you guys can compare between different videos if you'd like to, and you'd know that the amp settings are always going to be the same. But really nice clean tones, and I also really enjoyed the coil split tones on the clean channel too. Of course you get a volume drop when you engage the coil split, and that's something that if you're switching between it in a live context, you'll have to find something for, like a volume boost or clean boost to rectify that. But really nice thin sounds without being too thin, really nice for country, funk, that sort of stuff. Worked really well. When we went to the crunch channel of the amp, again I was finding it quite dark compared to some of my other guitars, but it sounded really nice for classic rock, for AC/DC riffs, that kind of thing too. And using the Gruyere Lightspeed for my beloved indie and alternative rock, well, I got fantastic tones there too. Nice aggression, nice thickness, nice top end, but not too much. And with the coil split as well, really nice jangly indie rock sorts of tones. Really good all round. But I actually think that this guitar and these pickups almost come alive when you whack up the gain and start to rock out a bit. When I went to the lead channel of my amp and I started doing the harder rock and the punk rock, well, I got fantastic tones. I really enjoyed the sounds of that guitar doing those styles of music. Great for palm muting and chugging, great for big thick power chords, really fat and thick with lots of low end, lots of high end too, lots of mid push as well, lots of everything in fact, and bags of clarity too. And that even continued when we went down to drop D and I engaged the Rev G3 high gain distortion pedal. Really nice fat metal tones, and you can genuinely do anything with this guitar. And with the higher gain stuff, I even thought the coil split sounded fantastic and thick as well. It's just a slightly different flavor on the tones. Really good. I've been blown away by how good this guitar actually sounds for so many different styles of music, and I think if you were to try it, well, I would challenge you to not be able to find the tones for the kind of music that you would want to play. In the sounds department, really impressed with this guitar. If you've been watching this video though, and you're kind of thinking, yeah, I like this sort of thing, but what else is out there? Well, there are a number of options, but not as many as something like a Les Paul or a Tele or a Strat type of guitar. Now, if you want an SG on a budget, well, look at some of the other Harley Benton offerings. Sure, there are some great ones out there, but Epiphone is going to be your option of choice there. Now, a current new Epiphone SG standard is going to be about $480, $490, $500 or something like that, and an SG Custom maybe $100 or euros more. Less on the used market, of course, but still comfortably more expensive than the DC-Custom II. And of course, if you want to buy a Gibson, well, for about 1,000, maybe 800 or 900, you might be able to find a used SG standard, which would be a great deal if you find a good one. Apart from that, if you're looking for a slightly more metal take on the SG, and in fact something that looks even closer to this, well, try out something like the ESP Viper, specifically the ESP Viper 256. That's the classic that I think so many of us know from back in the day, from the new metal genres and stuff like that. A great guitar, which is probably going to have a much thinner neck and much higher output humbuckers than this guitar has too. And if you're looking for an oddball, sort of out of the box option for an SG type of instrument, check out the new Guild Polaras. They're about 750 euros or dollars, so comfortably, well, 2-3 times the price of this guitar, but very cool things indeed. And I'm hopeful to get one of those onto the channel to do a video for you guys at some point in the future too. Whether or not those guitars offer the same specs and value for money as the DC-Custom II remains to be seen, but check them all out if you can, and you'll hopefully find the guitar that works for you. At the end of the day though, I've got to say that I'm pretty much blown away with how good the DC-Custom II is, especially when you consider that it's 299 euros. You get stainless steel frets, Grover tuners, Tesla humbuckers, everything else is great about this one specific one. Granted, this is only one and I may have got lucky, but for 299 euros, I'm not sure many other companies can match this kind of quality and this kind of value for money. Do you know of any other guitars for 299 bucks that give you stainless steel frets? If you do, please write write them down there in the comments, and I shall have to do a bit of exploring and see how the competition matches up to this guitar. But it's so versatile, it's so easy to play, it looks great, it sounds great, it plays fantastically well. There's only one big downside for me, and that's the bigness of the weight. If this guitar weighed half a kilogram or a kilogram or a pound or two lighter, there's no question that I'd be calling my rep at Harley Benton and saying, listen, you're not getting this guitar back ever, I'm keeping it. But because of that weight thing, I might kind of fish around and try and find a lighter version, because weight for me is important when it comes for guitars. If I want to be really picky, I guess I'll also say that the roasted jatoba fingerboard, well, it's really, really nice, but it's kind of reddish brown. I would really like to see a darker wood on the fingerboards in future, or maybe even ebony. That would be amazing. But that's kind of a luxury that you're not going to get, I don't think, for this kind of a price point. That aside, everything I have to say about this guitar is hugely positive, and I urge you to try one out if you ever get the chance. That's it. I hope you've enjoyed this video and it answered all of the questions that you may have had about the DC-Custom II. But if there's anything else you'd like to know, drop me a line down there in the comments and I shall do my best to answer you to the fullest. And if you're still around, would really make my day if you wanted to give the video a like, or maybe even subscribe to my little channel, because that really does help. But that's been it for today's video. I've been Rich, and this has been the Harley Benton DC-Custom II, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.